Hello Marvel Heroes fans, my name is Wilfred and welcome to my channel. To continue this mini-series on Rogue design review as well as build options, I would like to introduce something rather basic here. Now basic doesn't necessarily mean bad, it means that it is easy to understand, easy to play and very effective. I know when it comes to Rogue design, a lot of people are expecting something flashy, like using a lot of power that is stolen from this hero, that hero and so on and so forth. And I agree, I'll make another set of videos on those very kind of interesting build. But I would like to start off this whole entire series with a very fundamental basic build on using most of Rogue's powers. If you have not checked out my previous video on how to build a Rogue, do check that out. I put it on somewhere here in the box here so that you can catch up on some of the fundamental ideas of what to pick and how to build your Rogue and so on. So now when it comes to Rogue, there are many build options, of course. You may be coming to this channel looking for answers on the best build. Which build are giving you the best damage output, but my build philosophy has always been not just on the damage but also be able to survive well. And because patch after patch this game has changed quite a fair bit, unless someone is very meticulous in analyzing all the powers patch after patch to still stick by it and say that this is the best build, I think it's rather hard to say that. And also a lot of these builds, it could start off with the best, but then with all the tuning and so on, it may become something different for time to come. So I would like to stick with the basic here, introducing this fundamental kind of build to you. Building Rogue, there are many options. Like I said before, you can either build her as pure physics now. I mean, even the signature can be changed into a different damage type. Pure energy, pure mental, or mix of physical energy, physical mental, or mental energy. And you can also do like pure range, pure melee, or kind of like mix of between the two. Throw in summoner to it as well. As I always say, Rogue is one of the best heroes to unlock in this game when you get the hang of how to play this game, because it requires you to design your Rogue, and sometimes when Rogue doesn't work out, most of the time it's yourself to blame in a way. So but it's good that you're on my channel because I'll get it sorted here. So on the next part is really about talking on her powers, what kind of how to synergize some of the powers of hers, and also I'll just do another cosmic terminal to demonstrate how she plays. Like, although in the last video I did use this very same build for the cosmic dimension collide, which is one of my favorite terminal, and also the Inferno Limbo. So do check those out if you like to see how effective, how fun she is. I make some changes to her gear though, by the way, just for this video, because I've realized that you guys are expecting quite a lot from me, and I would like to at least live up to a certain expectation. Alright. On to the power, trait, and talent design. I'm not going to go through too much on how to steal power and how to use certain power between the two, kind of like active and passive kind of thing. Those I've already addressed in my last video. But I think the most important thing is to understand how Rogue is being structured and why this build that is very much on her physique, which is her own power, actually shine in many scenarios, because it has everything inside. It has the area, it has the life regen, it has the the utility kind of thing, the support each other kind of thing. So it's a good build. It's a good build, effective, not flashy, but effective. So now Rogue has only two traits of her own, which is she's a durability fighting hero. I'm happy with durability. I'm not that happy with fighting, but I think fighting is still better than the energy heroes in a sense, because the points you put into fighting actually translate to some crit kind of damage and reduction on melee as well, melee damage. So that's always good. But I would prefer a hero that's not fighting or not energy as of now. But crit hit damage is always good. Take note of that. And now that crit hit damage go into the pad as well, as per the 2.04 kind of like patch. So I think that is really good. Even if you want to build her as a summoner, her trait works as well. On the next one, which is she is a defense deflect hero, and also when you hit with a melee power, you got 8% reduction. Now, why is all these things important? Because it is, when you gear your Rogue for defense, you have to pay attention to all these things on working out your damage reduction. I'm not a big fan of average effective health, because I'm 67,000 if I'm charged by Rhino, I'm dead anyway if I can't dodge that. So I'm more interested in the damage reduction, which is right now is 44%, but you can add on to this guy here to make it like plus another 8% is 52%, which is not that bad really. But you have the gear for all these things. So do take note what are your defensive stats, because that's important as you build your hero. You have to build her all rounded, all by yourself, right? So now before I talk about what kind of trait I picked for what additional three traits I picked for Rogue, maybe just a run through of her power design here and why I stick with what I have here. So the first here is very much kind of boring actually. It's either you want your energy kind of like a recall overload to become a mental, but it restores spirit, or you want it to deal physical damage and have a higher crit chance. So what it really means is that you could transform your energy signature by default into any of these two types if you like to build your rogue to be pure mental or pure physical. For me, the more important thing for me is more to spirit regen, because I found that it's rather hard to maintain the spirit, and I think I would like to add a little bit of spirit regen to it. But it's really your choice which one you get more comfortable in it for this build. If you can sustain the spirit consumption, you don't need a spirit, because it depends on the build sometimes. But for this particular build, I would like to recommend the 20% more spirit. Then you have an easier time not to hit too many med kit for your spirit regeneration. Having said that, I do have a catalyst that does that job for me. Right. So this one is really about reducing cooldown, which could be quite interesting if you couple with one of the trait to give. I think there's another trait that gives you another cooldown reduction as well on this signature. So you add those together, you can pop the signature quite often. But like I said, this is a very fundamental vanilla build, all right? So it's nothing too fancy, flashy, just these two, whichever one that you can. I recommend this one. Next bit is really something quite, again, it's not that innovative anyway. You can either buff your stolen power or buff your marvelous power. Marvelous power is all this power over here, which is your own power. Or you can say, well, I can't really decide. I have a mix of both. I may as well go for higher health, or as well as damage absorb as well, make my rogue more durable. You can do that too. I think the buff is rather significant though, and also the more important thing is the spirit cost reduction. Now this particular build, I have 2 layers that are not marvelous, but I still think that it is good to have, especially my main spender cost spirit. So it's good to have this one to lower the kind of cost reduction wise, and 15% across most of my power is not a bad deal. So I picked this one instead. But I mean, even if you go for the full kind of like a stolen power kind of configuration, you still would require to have a signature anyhow, and signature is her own power. But this one is not buffed by neither of the talent, by the way. Just want at least let you know. So if you want to go non-marvelous, then you make sure everything is non-marvelous, then you can have a rather happy life here. But this one here, you can't really benefit everything, but it is what it is. All right. Not that I really like this design, by the way, just on the record, for the record. Then the next tier is really about whether you would like to apply the gloss off, which is a very nice power. The unfortunate thing now is that because there's no more hotbar dancing, and I must use drain life as you can see later on, which is a pity, because last time I could do a lot of other things for rogue power to make it quite interesting. I kind of like my rogue, my marvelous rogue pre-biggest update ever compared to now, but again, it is what it is. So you could do this one, but I would say I lose 1 layer for 1 minute kind of buff and cooldown. I don't know. I'm not really into that kind of burst damage. And also, as the game getting longer and slower, those kind of burst damage doesn't make sense anyway. You need to pop your signature twice for anything sometimes, right? So the next one is that if you use the aerial onslaught, which is one of her power, that is an aerial onslaught, which is a melee power, then you can use this to buff as well. But again, I mean, I'm not really into kind of like clear charge as well, because as you can see later, I actually replaced the clear charge, which is her standard charge, into one of the better charge that I stolen from one of the bosses there. So at the end, I go for Drain Life, Extreme Life, 20% more damage and 50% more health is very welcoming. imagine there are two powers I have that are able to kind of like, return heal Rook as she goes. So it's a overall all-rounder kind of build, decent amount of area, decent amount of like visual effect, decent amount of health that coming along, very nice damage reduction. So I highly recommend this build to you. Now, what kind of power and trait do I use? Probably that's a question. I would like to recommend the main spender Crushing Blows, which is the, very nice. I work out a number compared to say Sunspot build. I think that there's another one that's quite popular. I mean, this one actually it wins the number wise if you take into consideration of the 40% against enemy under effect of drain life. The only sort of like, I don't really like this power is that, in order to use this one, I have to use drain life, and drain life is nothing but another layer that gives you damage over time, also healing over time as well. And also, of course, you can use it to steal power, which is rather important unless you have already gotten all the powers that you have, from all the mobs and bosses and heroes. So it seems to me that I must use these two together. I would prefer to club this together into one superpower in a sense, but I guess they just don't want you to be too awesome, have to make some trade-off here and there. So to recap, in order to use Crushing Blow, you must use Drain Life. Notice the 8-second cooldown there. So in one of those power that you have, you must use the 8-second timer to sort of like re-trigger this Drain Life, and you'll get this very annoying message keep telling you that you have stolen the power, you have stolen the power, you have stolen the power, but it is what it is. All right. Next one is the Rumble Slam. Rumble Slam is nice. It's a vulnerability debuff. Not many power does vulnerability debuff. It has a very nice, beautiful kind of animation when it lands and before it lands as well. One of my absolute favorite power to, sort of like, there's a kind of anticipation when you're up in the air and then strike on something. So yes, I use that one mainly for the vulnerability debuff. The Extreme Drain is a new power being added after the biggest update ever. It has the Execute tag to it. So, even when you pick your own build, I think Execute is really important because it will get better and better as you towards the end of the fight. Sometimes when the fight get dragged on, you lose a little bit concentration. You really want to end it quite fast towards the end. So, and also one thing great about it is the health regen. Notice it's 16,000 health regen kind of thing. Versus the other one, the Drain Life, which is like 8,000 twice per second. So add them together is a rather good kind of very, very nice things that you have, and it instantly defeat any non-boss enemy. So it's a very nice layer to have. So I highly recommend. I had a lot of fun doing the Extreme Drain here. Extreme Drain is really Extreme Drain. Animation wise, well, I can't really show you. Doesn't really. Okay, the signature is something that you guys have seen before, so not going to go through the signature here. So I mean, on her power, just 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, what else do I do besides her power? Because I would like to build my Rook as the hybrid as well. So I'm adding in a mental power, which is minus destruction every 4 seconds. So it's a nice thing. It is very, very much like it's from the Mindless Titan. I worked out a number previously. It looks pretty nice, but I like it the fact that it has an explosion to it as well. So it's a nice kind of like power that you have. And the other one is of course Lavalanche, that more health you have, the higher damage, which is fine. It worked with me as well because my Rook is pretty high health in some way, and it has a kind of impact and has a damage over time to it. So both are very nice. So like if you look at the animation, oops, sorry, that is the So it's just one Lavalanche that come down from wherever, right? So it's very nice. The only drawback is that because of the fire and all, you can't really see any red zone on your feet, so you may end up getting hit quite a fair bit with all this animation. But there is something that is not just for Rook, but it's in general for Marvel Heroes the game. So that's all. The two layers that give me the hybrid energy and mental. As for trait-wise, I recommend the followings, but I will also give you some idea for others that you may want to use as well. So first thing first is the Venom, because I can't. Okay, by the way, I'm not here to give you the best kind of thing, because things changes all the time, and people like to passionately debate what is the best or not. It's not really something of the topic here. It's something just effective together with the gear and build that I have, and it becomes something that I can work with. Sorry, so just just bear that in mind. I like this one. Give me a little bit of crit. Crit is always nice. In this game now, the room has grown quite a fair bit. You have to work a little bit harder to hit some of these like crit kind of percentage and so on. But I like the fact that I add a strengthen to my allies. Now, strengthen could be something that it's quite common these days for many heroes that have that. But it's good that whoever with me have a strengthen kind of aura to it. So it's more as not just a solo player, but also as a team player. Next one is the I add a little bit of health and health regen as well. And again, I add guard to people around me. So not only am I strengthening my allies, I'm guarding my allies as well. Last but not the least, is more for myself. Whenever there's, I would like to add more health regen to my existing high health regen. But I think the more important thing is that when I go in a certain, when it drops until a certain kind of like a health, I get, my effect attribute and so on and so forth. So it's really just my play style. I like to be a little bit safe and stuff like that. But there are other options as well. I mean, if you don't like to have the Deadpool and whatnot, there's Black Cat as well. Black Cat is kind of decent. Give you, even if you get defeated, you can, continue. But just that with this build, I don't get defeated often, if at all. So I don't really need that kind of like a reassurance. Another one is the Craven. It gives you quite a big chunk of defense and the and defense multiplier. I have quite a lot of defense, so with the defense multiplier being up by the Craven, it's kind of nice as well. But the rest of the trade are very much a lot of trade off for you. Is either take the crit, take the brutal but lose a crit, take mental but lose the other two or whatnot. So I'm building her, and this very, very particular build is very generic, So hence that's my recommendation. So I think it's been rather long. I think maybe just the last point about the gear wise, just pick something that is her according to her fighting and the durability kind of like a setup, and that would be good. And I throw in something that because mine is really a hybrid hero, so I throw in something called hybrid here. Anything with the health regen is always good. Dupe rune is what I use for this particular build. Nothing too fanciful here. I do like melee and range, so I mix them in as well. Now the legendary is something of the quite a good debate here. I personally think that Power Cosmic is alright because plus attribute, plus 3 attribute as a hybrid build, and that legendary is kind of free anyway, so it's rather effective. I would level with that. But to get into raid these days, people always look into what raid of your legendary, so I don't really need it, but I use it for the raid only. Alright, so the rest of it I just use her kind of like gear. And okay, so let's head into the game itself. Cosmic Curse with the Rook. This is vanilla marvelous build. So and oh yeah, by the way, the dash I've used a Sinister one because it's just very nice, and the it's very nice for the Sinister's one, just because it you can do it 5 times and it's kind of very, very effective. You can do it 5 times here, so yeah, nice. Yeah, you see, I mean, it's kind of different when you come to play the rogue. Compared to, say, some of the heroes that you may see. I mean, she is effective if you want to build her that way. That's good. Now, this is what I mean. I mean, there are a lot of poison on the floor. Just that when mixed with all this like red stuff, you can't really see it. So again, rumble in, then do the layer and extreme drain, and he die one shot, right? I mean, you see that. And you can just do a signature if you want to. Very, very relaxing. I don't know why this guy is not dying at all. Strange, huh? So let me just one-shot this guy, maybe. Yep. See what I mean? Huh? So you can just rumble in. I mean, it's really hardly any scary moment at all. You can do a... Okay, Okay, extreme drain, and just do another signature, maybe. Right? Yeah. Well, actually, I don't really need my spirit that much when playing this build. Okay, I was told that there's a auto loot for currency. I have no idea why would anybody design a game without that as the default. I mean, why would anybody don't want any auto loot of currency? I don't know. It's strange the way it's designed. So I need to turn that on. Just give me a moment. Right, so that is it, and just make sure that there are times I need to do another drain live, and make sure that yeah. Okay, so done. Nothing too exciting here. So this 8 seconds, so you make sure you use one of these guys, maybe a bit of lava lunge or even the drain, like extreme drain. So before extreme drain, do one of them, one of the drain live kind of thing, so that you know you will not get, so you know the timing of it. So yeah, but I mean, traps mob like this, you probably wouldn't need to worry about extreme or not extreme kind of thing. So Surtur, maybe, yeah, very relaxing. I hope. I mean, there's not a lot of screaming. I mean, I do scream a lot with the game. I don't know whether you guys notice or not. Sometimes when I play other games, I do scream quite a fair bit. So you can like rumble in, then lava lunge, then do a bit of extreme drain kind of thing, and the minus thing here. All right, kill something here. Oh, the poison here. It's a poison that's hurting. I couldn't really see. Alright. So the signature. I can't see, man. There's some poison going on, maybe. There's a mini boss here. Just work your rotation. Alright. Yeah, it's a bit slow these days. I'm still using the pre 2.0 gear, so whatever you see here, take that into consideration. All right. Okay. So that is it, and a bit of traveling. I can actually, because of 5 charges, and I do put in infinity points to get the to shorten the cooldown of the dash. So I could actually afford to dash quite often if I wish to. So that's another good thing about this build, is that you can use that to dash quite a fair bit. So this is the Sinister one. It's called the molecular transport. All right, molecular transport. Yeah. All right. Bye bye. So that was the that was the extreme drain. Now, do I need to kill all of these guys? Well, of course I do, because otherwise my team up will be stuck behind when the boss fights there. Do I want to show you the Okay, so that is it, and I'll just do an ultimate here, if that's okay. Show you guys some of this ultimate moment, and basically just mashing of the various button. The G button, whatever you call, is the Righteous Fury, will root her in a place. So just make sure that you know what you're doing with the G. This one is I can never see the cooldown of this one. I don't know what happened to this, man. You guys can tell me, why am I not able to use the? Maybe I haven't really used the Raging Cajun in my build, so it doesn't show up here. But that's what it is. Okay, so that is the curse and the yep. So I hope that is it. Yeah, nothing dramatic, and as usual, there's nothing much really worth picking up. Not even unique, I think. Then yep. So no Germ of the Curse, unfortunately, but yeah. I hope you enjoyed this this video getting a little bit long. My apologies, because Rogue is also always one of my favorite, and I like to at least sell you this idea that Marvelous build is not bad, really. It's effective, it's kind of relaxing as well. May not be too flashy, but it does the job well. So I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you next time. I hope with more build idea for Rogue. Bye.